A study of the parables of Jesus. Lesson 11. The parable of the 10 virgins. Matthew 25, 1 through 13. I'll give you a moment to find it for yourself. At that time, the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish, and 5 were wise. The foolish ones took their lamps, but did not take any oil with them. If that's not clear, what it means is they took the oil in the small lamp, but they didn't take an extra supply to refill it. The wise, however, took oil in jars along with their lamps. The bridegroom was a long time in coming, and they all became drowsy and fell asleep. At midnight, the cry rang out, "Here's the bridegroom! Come out and meet him." Then all the virgins woke up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish ones said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil. Our lamps are going out." "No," they replied, "there may not be enough for both of us and you." But while they were on their way to buy the oil, the bridegroom arrived. The virgins who were ready went in with him to the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later, the others also came. "Sir, sir," they said, "open the door for us." But he replied, "I tell you the truth, I don't know you. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know the day or the hour." Let us examine the background of this parable. Of course, the background is the wedding customs of the Jews in the first century. And they were very different from ours. The wedding took place at the home of the groom, because that is where the bride would take up residence after the marriage. The groom, accompanied by his friends and servants, would go to the home of the bride and escort her back to the home of his parents. This symbolized the fact that she was no longer a member of her biological family, but became a part of the groom's family. The uncertainties of scheduling events at a distance and the time the bride might need to get ready to leave her parents' home forever made it impossible for anyone to know just exactly when the groom would return with his bride. The groom would arrange for a group of virgin young women, usually from his own village, to welcome him and his bride whenever they should return. The group would be selected from his own household. Local village girls are from both. In the passage preceding this parable, Jesus had been teaching his followers about the destruction of Jerusalem and about his appearing as a king and his final appearance at the end of time to judge the world. Thus, the parable is an exhortation to his followers to be wise, to be prepared for any and all of these events all the time, because he himself at that time didn't know when it would happen. This is the way believers today ought to be ready. We should stop wasting time on trying to calculate based on assumptions and figures and all, just when this is going to happen. Be ready. And the readiness means be doing the work of the kingdom all the time. Okay, the meaning of the parable as a whole. Jesus' followers should be ready at all times, whether in the morning, at noon, at midnight. Be ready for his appearing in any and all circumstances. I cannot emphasize that too much. There's no time to say, well, he's not coming the next 24 hours, because you don't know that. I'm not trying to scare you and to keep you in a state of jittery anticipation, but it's just the facts. And so always be ready. Readiness is not difficult. It is simply going about the business of the kingdom and doing daily everything that we need to do. Let's look at the significance of individual elements of the parable. The groom, of course, is Jesus. His being gone for a time is symbolic of his preparing the bride, the church, to participate in the marriage feast of the Lamb. Paul emphasizes this in Ephesians 5:25 through 32, that he is now preparing the church for participation in the wedding feast. And the wedding feast of the Lamb is pictured in Revelation 19:7 through 9. That preparation will occupy all the time between his second and third. Now, I know people talk about first appearance and second appearance, but there's actually three. His second appearance is when he returns at the end of time. His third appearance is when he comes to gather. They'll all happen approximately the same time, but there's two different things that will happen at that time. The change in family membership signifies the change from serving the devil to serving God. That's when we become married, become the spouse of Christ. We have been serving the devil's will. Now we submit to the will of the bridegroom. The wise virgins are those followers of Jesus who are always prepared for his appearing. They don't have to get ready, they are ready. The foolish virgins are those followers of Jesus and others who are not prepared for his appearing. Now, he's talking here especially about followers, but they're not any more prepared for his coming than unbelievers. Neither group are prepared for his return. The wedding feast is the one mentioned in Revelation 19:7 through 9. The futile appeal of those not allowed to participate in the wedding feast is Jesus' standard warning to those who don't take opportunities to believe in him in this life. There will be no second chance to believe in him. If you are not professing and believing in him, you won't be able to after death. Let's look now at making this parable your own. In your situation, what does being prepared for Jesus' next appearing mean? Perhaps making a list of possibilities would help you think in detail about what it would mean. Now, by that I mean each one of you has a different role in the kingdom. So your way of preparing is slightly different from others, maybe vastly different. As a preacher and teacher, I had one role. My wife, Mina, had a slightly differing role. As the wife of a preacher, mother of children, and a member of the kingdom in her own right, and each one of you has a different role. What you need to do is say, how well am I doing filling that role, that function, that work of the kingdom to which God has assigned me? Secondly, you need to think how you can help others in your life to be ready for his next appearing. For we need to help one another. It may be teaching. It may be living example. It may be a lot of things, but we need to help others. Here's a question, though, for thought and prayer. How important is Jesus' return in your daily life? How often do you consciously prepare for it? How often do you even think about it? You need to be honest in this and take remedial steps if you need to. By that I mean, think about how important you think it should be. Thank you.